Continuation from the karma, which we did the first session. Okay, maybe very quickly, there's one question here, which reads, Nagarjuna's mention of the 5 points pertaining to the suffering. And the question is, what is the cause of the self-grasping ignorance? So we see that the suffering can be traced back, in terms of the cause, we can trace back to the contaminant karmas, afflictions, inappropriate attention, and the self-grasping ignorance. What about self-grasping ignorance? What's the cause of that? Okay, this is a good question. In fact, I think the answer is already given by the person himself or herself. Also is given that is the cause of the self-grasping ignorance the previous moment of the mind with self-grasping ignorance. Okay, this is the answer. So the point is that then what about the self-grasping ignorance? How does it arise? How does it arise? So so basically imprints of the self-grasping. So now we are also talking about the imprints, which is so important. Imprints and people who really engage, who really put effort to know effort in Dharma practice, and to bring about not just recitation, sadhana, and so forth, but really work on bring about transformation in one's own thinking. So earlier, you may be a little, short-tempered, and then trying to tackle with this, and then maybe too obsessive with things, again to tone it down. So people who really put effort, and then not really they're sympathetic towards others, not empathetic towards others, learning how to be empathetic with practice compassion and so forth. And then we're seeing things as so permanent, so independent, then trying to see impermanent reality. Okay, so really working on this and then bring about change within your emotional states. When somebody really strives hard to bring a change in your mind, then they find it, they come to the reality that is very difficult to bring about change in your own mind. You getting it? To do the sadhana is one thing. This is very precious, very sadhana, daily commitments, so forth. They are very fine, but then they find that by doing all these things, transformation should happen within us. Transformation should happen with it. So where earlier you were a little short-tempered, something goes wrong, you either freak or agitated, and your mind, there's a problem, you say agitation coming, and then slowly that should calm down. Okay, so for these we see that on practical ground, the real transformation taking place, that when somebody puts effort in that direction to bring a transformation of your one's own mind, then people find it really difficult. So some people know it's so difficult, right? It is by 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Still, I see that there's no change happening. Okay, so the point is that this is all because of the imprints. You're getting it? We have so rich storage of the imprints of the negative karmas, negative actions in the past. So we have to undo these imprints. Undoing these imprints will take time, and particularly people who reach to that level, that realizing that to undo the negative habits, there's something very difficult. When you realize that itself is the beginning, the dawn of the transformation, which is so precious. To realize that it's so difficult to bring up transformation. I see, this is my state. Not that, look at that person, right? There's no change there. It's so difficult. Look at this person. Always going to TBC, always going to ABC, always going to this place, that place, but there's no change there. Look at this. This should not be attitude. The attitude should be towards you. I've been doing it all these last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. I've been going to this center, I'm going to that center, I'm going to teaching of his holiness, I'm going to this, and then there's no change happening, right? I'm just the same person. I'm the same short-tempered person, right? All these, whatever, say the problems with my family members, it just remains the same. It becomes worse. Okay. Only when you realize that, pertaining to the self, that is the mark of the dawn of your spiritual realization. That is a dawn. Whereas to see, put your fingers outside and then they look at this, that's very easy. Look at myself, how difficult it is for me to bring about change. That, if you feel that this is difficult, you have already started the journey. The first journey has already started. The first mark has already started. You're getting it? Okay. So the point is that this is why it's difficult. Oftentimes I tell people that emptiness is not a difficult topic. But most of the people you meet with, you talk about emptiness, they will say, oh, it's a very difficult topic. It's not difficult. Only thing is that wisdom of emptiness, why that is not really dawning in us, is because the opposite force is very powerful. What is that? Self-grasping ignorance is so powerful within us. Because it is so powerful, we try to create some spark of the wisdom emptiness. Easily it overwhelms this and finish. Right? So this is what is happening. So now if we give up, it will never happen. We can never overcome the self-grasping ignorance. So our point is that the negative force is very strong. What do you mean by negative force very strong? Imprints of the negative force is very strong. Imprints. So we're talking about imprints. So self-grasping ignorance today, what caused that is because a very clear indication that self-grasping yesterday. Self-grasping yesterday, very clear because of the 2 days ago. Self-grasp of 2019 because of 2018. Self-grasp from this life because of the past life. Past life because of the past life. You go like this, you can go ad infinitum. Right? Go ad infinitum, back in time, no beginning. Okay, this is how we have to understand it. And then somebody may ask me, tell me, what is the original, where does the original self-grasping come from? Original self-grasping. Some people may ask this question. The fact that you talk about the original self-grasping, which means that you are already indoctrinated by the modern education. Modern education, which talk about Big Bang, original of universe. Evolutionary theory, the origin of human beings. Evolutionary theory, origin of the species. Right? So this is how we are indoctrinated by the modern education, that there is something beginning. Not that modern education does not tell us that there should be always a beginning. No. But say implicitly, indirectly, we are being somehow taken to this direction to accept that there should be some beginning for everything. Okay, so with this, the answer is that it comes from the previous imprints of the self-grasping ignorance left by the earlier self-grasping ignorance. So that has been with us since eternity. But the true nature of mind is so pure. True nature of mind is never tainted by the self-grasping ignorance. True nature of the mind is never tainted by the self-grasping ignorance, never tainted by any afflictions. It's so pure, the true nature of mind. But self-grasping ignorance has tainted us, not our true nature of the mind, but tainted the mind since time immemorial, since time beginningless. But the true nature of mind was never tainted by the self-grasping ignorance. Oftentimes people mix up the two things. They confuse the two things. On the one hand, we say that self-grasping, the true nature of mind, Buddha nature within us, that is never tainted by the self-grasping ignorance. That is never tainted by the afflictions. One. Then on the other hand, that our mind has been tainted since beginningless time. It has been tainted. So these two people mix up. Right? These two are not the same. These two are very different. Okay, let me say this again. One, our true nature of mind is never tainted by self-grasping ignorance, afflictions, and so forth. Never tainted. That is so pure. But the mind, I delete this word true nature. Mind per se, our mind is defiled or tainted by the self-grasping ignorance and affliction since beginningless time. Okay, don't mix the two things. Okay, good. So now, what is important is that how does the say the practice of the refraining from the non-virtuous actions. Finally, we have to somehow, as I said earlier, on the one hand, the non-virtuous actions, they are something which we don't really need to study philosophy. We know that they are destructive, that they do harm us. But to refrain from them is difficult. To refrain from them is difficult, right? So, how to refrain from them? How to refrain from them? One, we have to know that we can stop them. We can stop them. One. Number two, we have to know how to stop them. How to stop them. To know how to stop them, we have to know how they arise. How they arise. This is what we have to know. Okay. Now let us see. Let's say the karma. As I said earlier, it is karma. As I said earlier, is the cause-effect cause. The cause which gives rise to a result, and cause which is a special cause which is affected or influenced by the cause or action which is affected by the intention. Very good. Okay, which is affected by the intention. Now say that, okay, this distinction, we have to make one distinction here. Say those of you who are beginners, don't feel demoralized, don't feel disheartened, right? Say we have to learn. We have to learn these things, even to know this distinction. Otherwise, I can go in a very shallow way where everybody can easily understand it. So because there are many senior, many who are senior in the study of Buddhist philosophy, for them also, and for the newcomers also, this will be very helpful. The point is the same. What exactly is this karma? This morning, the first session, I said that the action which is driven by the intention. This is what I said. Now, to make it very precise, the Buddhist schools, they differ in the view. Buddhist schools, they differ in the view. Say the Buddhist schools, we speak about Vaibhashika, Sautantrika, Chitamatra, Madhyamika. Within Madhyamika, we talk about the Savatantrika Madhyamika and Prasanga Madhyamika too. Okay, those who are new, you may be a little lost. Don't worry about that. In other words, there are 4 schools, and the fourth one we divide into 2. And the one which is lower, and the other one, Prasangika, is the highest. So in other words, the final intention, the final thought of the Buddha, or the final philosophy of the Buddha, reflects the Prasangika philosophy. Keep that in mind. Okay. So now, as for karma, what exactly is karma? The schools, 4 plus the fourth one we split into 2, making 5. These 5 schools, we can split them into 2 groups. 2 groups. One is the lowest one and the highest one. What's the lowest one? Vaibhashika, and the highest one? Prasangika. So these 2 will come into one category, and everything inside, in between, like Sautantrika, Chitamatra, Svatantrika, Madhyamika, these 3 in between. So of the 5, in between 3, they fall under one category. And the lowest one, Vaibhashika, and the highest one, Prasanga, these 2 fall under one category. So there are 2 categories. So these 2 categories, they differ in indicating, or in identifying what exactly is karma. Okay. So generally speaking, we speak about the karma in the form of physical, verbal, and mental actions. Physical action, say we talk about the 10 non-virtuous actions, which have the 3 physical, 4 verbal, and the 3 mental. So there are 3 versions of the karma state: physical, verbal, and mental. Now, the two schools. First, let me say the Prasangika and the Vaibhashika. These 2 schools, what they say is that physical action, for example, say making prostrations, and then say abusing others, physically abusing others, and so forth. And then the same, the making prostrations, making offerings of the butter lamps, the water, and so forth to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and then generosity, act of actual generosity, giving in things to the people, the deserving people. So these are all the visible physical actions. They are karmas. And then likewise, verbal. What you say, good words, gentle words, and harsh words. They're all what you can hear. They're also the verbal karmas. They're also karmas, verbal karmas. Right? And then mental is common between the two groups. In other words, what you can visually see of the physical actions, what we can say through your ears you can hear of somebody talking gently or the harshly, whatever, and viciously, all these fall under the verbal karma, physical karma, and mental karma. So that is how the Prasangika and the Vaibhashika, these two schools, qualify. Which means that karma may not necessarily always mental. It should be visually seen physical actions, and through ear what you can hear of the sound, and what you can actually the mental. Okay, all these three constitute the karmas. Whereas the three schools in between these two schools, the three schools, Sautrantika, Chittamatra, and Swadharma Madhyamika. These three schools, what they say is that what is karma? Karma is just the mental intention. Just the mental intention. That is the karma. Physical actions, these are just the outcomes. Outcomes, they are not the real karma. Technically speaking, these three schools will say that the real karma is the mental intention. That is the karma, technically speaking. Right? For even these philosophers, these practitioners, they are the great practitioners. When they teach, ordinary people who have no exposure to philosophy, they will not say the intention. They will say physical, verbal, mental. But when they teach you technically, then we'll say that the real karma, if you are to pinpoint to what karma is the intention, mental intention. That's the karma. What you see, physical actions, gesture of making prostration, generosity, and so forth, these are simply the manifestations of the intention inside. Intention inside, what makes you to actually engage in generosity, what makes you to say something harsh, say something good. So that intention, that is the karma. So physical and verbal, they are mere expressions. Finish. Okay. Whereas Vaibhashika and Prasangika say that not only the intention, actually literally what physically you do, what verbally you say, even these also fall under the category of karma. Okay, this is the slight distinction between these two schools. Now the point is, in both cases, intention plays a very important role for the karma. Intention plays. Now, so for us, for example, let's say that you come to the center, and then you learn about, hey, don't engage in negative karmas, right? Stop the 10 non-vicious karmas and so forth. Okay, yes, I'll stop. Miss, that 100%, I will never do it. And then you reach home, right? And your mother tells you, daughter, you'll have a cup of tea. Son, you'll have a cup of tea. Oh, mom, I will do it. Very nice, you have changed. Otherwise, earlier you said, please wait for a minute. I just came, right? Just as a harsh was coming out. Now you're a little gentle. And the mother said, where did you go? I went to say, why are you going to center all the time? Then anger comes in. Right? You can go to center once in a year is fine. New Year, you can go to center. Why should you go? Right? What is there? Going to center all the time. Why don't you do a job? Right? What do you get out of going to center all the time? Yeah, you can go. We can all go together on the New Year. Right? Okay. So then you become, the anger arises. Then the harsh words come back. And then after that you regret. right? Okay, I promise not to do it. Again, it becomes so difficult to actually practice. Literally, you find it so difficult to practice it. Okay, now, is there a way by which we can actually successfully do this? For that matter, we have to know what triggers this, what triggers this intention. What triggers these actions? Because the intention. What triggers this intention? This is what we have to explore. You're getting it? This is so important in practical terms. So finally the point is that you become, say somebody says something very harsh on you, and that you're not affected, and on top of that other person also learns a lesson to be so amazed by your action of not reacting. You become so calm, you maintain very confident. So these people learn so many things from you, and you're not affected, you're not agitated. This is the best thing. Otherwise, why should I submit myself? Why should I surrender to this person? Then you equally react, other person will become worse. And so it becomes like a chain reaction, right? So that is harmful to the other person, harmful to yourself. Both of you are harmed. Whereas if you learn this skill, how not to react and how the problem can be under control. In fact, look, if there is a way by which you can say, if there is a way by which we can tackle it nicely, many of the things which two persons are to meet, they are bound to be going to be conflicts happening. You can foresee that, and then because of your skillfulness, this situation otherwise going to be a very complicated thing, you can turn it into a situation whereby other person learns a lesson from you. Then situation not only becomes good, all the future problems are going to be solved. These things can happen because of your skillfulness. You're getting it? So the process itself. So karma is nothing but a process. Because it's a process, it is not just happening suddenly. It happens process. So the process, you can change it through your skillfulness. For that matter, we have to learn how the karma is actually, karma meaning, say the actions. Don't think of the karma, somebody else is doing. Your own karmas. The fact that we are in samsara means we have our limitations, that we are not doing something right. The fact that we are in samsara means that we are not doing something right. And then the fact that we are going through, we have the mental agitation and so forth arising in us. When somebody says, even though somebody without any basis accuses you or insults you or says something bad on your face, even though conventionally speaking, people say that no, this is not your mistake at all, it's the other person's mistake. But the fact that you are hurt, is a clear indication that this is the effect of some karma, right? Some previous negative karma, which you did earlier. So now the point is how to get rid of these things. So the point is, whatever we did in the past, there's ways and means by which to purify them. But more than the purification, what is important is stop what are you doing, but that you can potentially do in the future. Try to stop them, right? You can purify the earlier ones, but if you continue doing it, what's the point? On the one hand, I'll go for retreat. What retreat? Vajrasattva retreat. For what? Purification negative karmas. And in the retreat, you fight with other people. Right? Negative karmas are constantly being created. Why even the retreat, even this facility is not there? Right? So why my neighbor is terrible? They even don't know anything about the karma, right? They even have the basic the courtesy they don't have. Right? You just go there to purify negativity, you accumulate manufacture no negative karmas. Pointless. So what is important is do the purification. Meanwhile, because that you are involved in wanting to purify negativities, because of your fear of the negative karmas, because of the fear of the future pains, right? Now what is wise thing to do is, while stopping purifying negative karmas, more important is to stop engaging negative karmas now, which is actually in your hand. To do, not do, is in your hand now. Those things you don't pay attention and just focus on retreat, purification karma is nice, but except for that person, otherwise it's nice, except for the facilities, otherwise it's nice, right? Okay, so no point. So the future the manufacturing of the negative karmas, try to see how to stop them. Try whatever is within your capacity, try not to engage in them. Say if you engage in them like 80%, see if you can reduce it to 70%, 50%, 40%, 20%. To reduce 100% is not really 100% possible at this stage, but as long as there's a progress happening, that is a mark of the successful practice. For that matter, to make it effective, as I've been saying, don't expect perfection right away. If you expect perfection right away, right, henceforth I'll never do it. This is some people, this is their style of talking. Right? Oh, I went to the class there, negative karma is so bad, henceforth I'll never do it, henceforth I'll never drink Coca-Cola, henceforth I will never eat meat, henceforth I'll never this, and then next year you repeat it. Right? It doesn't take even 10 years. 10 years, even tomorrow, the very next day you repeat it. So the point is, see how much, say, within the given situation, be very realistic. Within the given situation, what best can be done? Do that. If you fail to do that, then what's the point? Right? So how to do that? How to make it most efficient within the given situation. For that matter, we need to know how, say, the causally, how these karmas are created. Meaning, how does one engage in the 10 non-virtuous actions? You're getting it? Okay. For that matter, what is so important is, say, what makes me, with the best of my intention, to stop negative karmas, but somehow no, I cannot, I'm a little weak. I have to again engage in one thing again. Again, I have to do it. Right? Again, I have to do it. So what makes you do it repeatedly, despite knowing that this is not correct? What makes you do it repeatedly? Okay. Keep in mind two things. One is deep inside, one must have a conviction in your seat of perfection, Buddha nature. One must have this conviction. This negative action that I'm doing, this is not my true nature. My true nature is full of wisdom, full of compassion, and full of power. The true nature of my mind. What I'm doing now, this is not my true nature. Right? So why don't I go back to my true nature? Why don't I display my true nature? Why don't you display true nature? Because somebody is stopping me. Who is stopping you from displaying this true nature? Negative thoughts inside. What are these negative thoughts? These are demons. You're getting it? So when you think that I have to, this is not my true nature. My true nature is so pure. But why I'm not manifesting it? Because somebody is blocking that. Who blocks with that? That's a demon. Then you feel so angry towards not the person. Angry towards those things which you block, which block you from manifesting this true nature. What blocks you from manifesting this true nature? Self-grasping ignorance, anger, greed, self-centered attitude, jealousy, all these negative thoughts. Then you will start feeling angry towards these negative thoughts. You're getting it? Okay, this is very important. And all these negative thoughts like anger, greed, and so forth, they fall under which category of the 5? Afflictions, gross afflictions. And these gross afflictions, they are triggered by what? Inappropriate attention, which in turn is triggered by self-grasping ignorance. You are getting it? Now for your information, which is so important, right? One for intellectually, one for more experientially, is that this self-grasping ignorance, at the root, self-grasping ignorance can act to make the afflictions very gross, right? Fear, anxiety, stress, attachment, craving, jealousy, and all these things, they manifest in that form because of self-grasping ignorance only when that self-grasping ignorance is complemented by the self-centered attitude. Don't forget it. Self-grasping ignorance only when that is complemented by self-centered attitude then can manifest into then can really like the two, what do you call it? The two poles of the electricity. When they meet, then the spark is given rise to, right? It explodes. Okay. So likewise, self-grasping ignorance, only when it comes in contact with self-centered attitude, then it will burst into the gross afflictions, attachment, anger, and so forth. Self-grasping ignorance per se, without self-centered attitude, will never give rise to the gross afflictions such as attachment, fear, anxiety, and so forth. Self-centered attitude without self-grasping ignorance, what I earlier said is self-grasping ignorance without self-centered attitude will never give rise to these gross afflictions. Likewise, self-centered attitude without self-grasping ignorance will never give rise to the gross afflictions. Okay, can you give me an example of self-centered attitude without the self-grasping ignorance? Can you give me an example of a person who has self-centered attitude without the self-grasping ignorance? Can you give? Arahats, somebody who has already eradicated self-grasping ignorance, somebody who has already achieved nirvana, but not yet followed the bodhisattva path. So they don't have the self-grasping ignorance, they have the self-centered attitude. With this self-centered attitude, because the self-grasping is not there, the gross afflictions cannot arise. Attachment, anger, jealousy, fear, and so forth, they don't arise because the two things are not there. Self-grasping ignorance is missing. Now, self-grasping ignorance is there, but self-centered attitude is not there. Then the gross afflictions do not arise. Can you give me an example? Okay, bodhisattvas, let's say the bodhisattvas on the first ground. Bodhisattvas on the first ground is a very good answer given. Bodhisattvas on the first ground, they do have the afflictions, but the afflictions are very low intensity, very low. So they have the self-grasping ignorance because the self-centered attitude is greatly mitigated. Mitigated means very less powerful, so it becomes like the very only self-grasping ignorance without the self-centered attitude. And to speak, another example would be a bodhisattva on the first ground, not the first ground, the first path. What is the first path? Path of accumulation. Path of accumulation. Bodhisattva on the path of accumulation. Say Bodhisattva on the path of accumulation may not necessarily have the wisdom of emptiness. Right? Bodhisattva necessarily does not have the wisdom of emptiness. Only when you raise the, say, Bodhisattva, path of accumulation, within the path of accumulation, there are three levels: small, middle, and the great. When you reach the middle, then you should have the experience of emptiness. You must realize emptiness, without which you cannot reach that middle. Okay, so the point is that the bodhisattva on the path of accumulation there, without the wisdom of emptiness, because of the other cherished mind, bodhicitta is so intense, the self-centered attitude is mitigated to a great extent. It is less, because of which, say, small things will not really irritate them, right? And small things will not really trigger, say, the excitement, attachment, anger, and so forth for them, because the self-centered attitude is so much mitigated. Okay, so with this we see that finally we have to work with these two things. Finally. But what's the process? What's the process? You say, what makes us very difficult to curb the problems? What makes us difficult to curb the anger? Right? Okay, I have no anger, right? And then when I actually meet with the circumstance, what happens? Anger arises. Okay, tell me, how many of you have this problem? In your mind, you made the commitment, I will not have anger, I will not give in to anger. And with a given situation, anger arises. Raise hands. Okay, almost all of us, right? Almost all of us. Okay, so with this, what is happening? What is happening? How to curb this? How to curb this? Okay. Anyone, even though it may not be experienced in this matter, if you have heard something, if you learned something of how to curb the anger, anyone likes to share? Or if you learn, not necessarily that this is what my experience, not necessary. Say even, this is what I learned, how to tackle the anger. This is what I learned from this text. That we should do this. Anyone? Apply. Okay, apply the ultimate analysis. I said that, that is the deep. First, the wave must be subsided. Wave is the aggressive, harsh words and so forth coming out of anger. That wave must be subsided. So, anger is the manifestation. The manifestation. After the waves are then bubbles inside the water is there. Anger is more like the bubbles. And expression of anger, that is the ferocious waves. Right? So so we are talking about the tackling the ultimate analysis. These things, they are tackling the sediment. Okay, so the anger, practice loving kindness. Right? In the text, it says that for anger, to counter the anger, unique practice that should be practiced to tackle anger is the practice of loving kindness. Right? Okay, this is what the text says. Although it may be difficult, then okay, now I got the trick. Right? So when I'm about to show anger towards my mother, right? Then I'll practice loving kindness. And then the mother says something, why am I going to send all the time? Then, Mom, I like to practice with loving kindness to you. No, anger erupts. Anger erupts, right? Anger erupts. Okay, so what is happening? What is happening? How does this anger erupt so spontaneously? How does it erupt? This is the point. You're getting it? So, loving kindness, you can practice this daily, particularly towards your mother and so forth, daily. And then with this force, the force of this practice, when you actually meet with the mother says something little, say, which would irritate you, then this force will definitely help you to tone down your anger. But still the anger can arise. How does it arise? How does it arise? Before we talk about how to curb them, right? So one method taught is to practice loving kindness on a daily basis. One. Any other means taught? You remember? You could recall from texts, teachers, whatever. Practice of patience. Okay, with anger, practice of patience. Very good. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay.
Remain like a piece of rock.
Very good. Very good. Okay, remain like a piece of wood. Okay, this is from where? Shantideva, your classmate? Right. Okay, do we say, okay, who said it? Dalai Lama said it. Oh, His Holiness the Dalai Lama said it. How do you say this? His Holiness the Dalai Lama. We will say that. We will not say that Dalai Lama said it. Right? Okay, likewise, Shantideva said it. It's like my classmate said it. Right? So let's say, okay, to the best you can. Sometimes, once in a while, when we try to explain this to somebody who's totally new to all these things, then the Bodhisattva Shantideva, it becomes a long name. The person cannot remember. To make the other person remember very easily, Shantideva. Otherwise, people who are already aware, they say Bodhisattva Shantideva with respect. You're getting it? This is very precious. Okay, with this, in the Bodhisattva Shantideva's text, which text? A Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. So there, Bodhisattva Shantideva said something very interesting. This is so important. This is, therefore, what I say is that for the psychologist, for the psychotherapist, psychoanalyst, psychiatrist, I say that they must keep this book as a Bible with them. A Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. So there, Bodhisattva Shantideva mentioned incredibly important point there when tackling the anger. So what he said is that he did not go into too detail of the process, but he mentioned the key point of the process. Anyone remembers that? Anyone? Okay. Now if I say this, many of you will remember what he said there. What he said is that if, say, two houses are joined, and say house A and B, house A is on fire, house B has so much of the straw, right? Straw meaning? Straw. Yes, straw, right? Okay. Now, if the house is on fire, then the house B, to lessen the fire, effect of the fire to house B, what should we do? Remove the straw. You're getting it? Remove the straw, because the straw is the fuel to the fire. You're getting it? So anger is like the fire, and the straw, the fuel of the anger, is the unpleasant feeling. You're getting it? Okay, tell me. So somebody says that, can you help me? Can you help me? Right? Would you mind giving me a hand? When somebody says that, when will you become, when is more, like, when is there a greater likelihood for you to become the angry? After the work, or before you start the work? Before you start work means you are very fresh, right? After work means you are very exhausted. Would you mind giving me a hand, right? So, which of the two times there's a tendency for you to become little uneasy or unhappy? Huh? Just speak your mind. After the work. Why? Because you're already tired. You don't have the energy to feel the happiness. You're already very tired. So this tiredness, feeling of tiredness. How many of you enjoy this feeling of tiredness? Huh? No? What is that feeling of tiredness like? Is to be enjoyed, or is not to be enjoyed? Not to be enjoyed. Which means that this is unease. Feeling of tiredness is the unease. Feeling of unease, unpleasant feeling. Unease is a pleasant feeling or unpleasant feeling? Unpleasant feeling. Feeling of tiredness is an unpleasant feeling. Unpleasant feeling can easily trigger anger. Right? Unpleasant feeling can easily trigger anger. For example, if you have a conflict with your husband or wife, right? And you go to the work. One. The other day, you have a very nice reconciliation with your husband and wife, and you go to the work. And then somebody says, you do not do, this is your deadline, you did not do it. Right? Which of the two situations you become easily, become angry? When you have difficult time in your family, or when you have fun in your joy in your family? Difficult time, your mind is always very unpleasant. With the unpleasant mind, unpleasant feeling, you come to the work, somebody says little thing, it sparks into anger. You're getting it? Whereas in your family, right? Oh, right? Gesala, we learn about compassion, right? Gesala says yes. It's a very nice thing, right? And then no anger. Yes, in the work, you don't have no anger, right? Yes. Oh, with so much harmony, so much of, say the agreement. Then you go very happy. Somebody says that, hey, you did not do it. Okay, yes, I'm sorry, we'll do it. But if there's a fight there, from the house, come there, you don't do it. How do you know that I didn't do it? Then anger easily erupts. So the point is, with the unpleasant feeling, it easily erupts into anger. This anger will easily erupt into non-voracious actions. You're getting it? Okay, for this process, to know this process, what we have to learn is what is known as the 5 omnipresent mental factors. As a part of the Buddhist psychology, study of Buddhist psychology, we have to learn the 5 omnipresent mental factors. This is so important. You have to know this, right? Know this, then you will see the value of studying these, the psychology, logic, and the philosophy, and you will see the benefit. If you study the Bodhisattva Shantidev's text, chapter 6, the practice of patience, dealing with anger. So there, what is said is that all these anger is the result of the unpleasant feeling. The fuel of the anger is the unpleasant feeling. And this is actually coming from the Buddhist psychology. In detail, it was explained there, right? Bodhisattva Shantideva, being a great, great scholar, right? He just applied it directly. So the real, say, the subject, the topic is discussed there in the Buddhist psychology. So what is that? It's known as the 5 omnipresent mental factors, which is so important. Okay, so those of you who are new to this thing, you may be a little lost. Okay, I'll explain this very quickly. So when you say that, okay, so this person is very compassionate, which it doesn't mean that the person's body is compassionate or the mind is compassionate. Mind is compassionate. Okay, so this person is not really trustworthy, right? The person can easily accept something, but will not really do it. It's not reliable. So what is that? The body or the mental? Mental. So we see that the mind, and somebody says, okay, say Mrs. A said it. Mrs. A said it. So this thing happening because Mrs. A said. Who said it? Mrs. A. Yes, if she said it, that's very reliable. She's very reliable. Whatever she says only if she's very sure. Right? Some people are very reliable, some are not reliable. What's the difference? Is it the body or the mind? Mind. And some people can sit in meditation for very long. Some people cannot sit. Some people just sit. Okay, you are doing wonderful meditation. I also like to do it. Sit, in 2 minutes you stand up. Some people, they do like that. Go to, drink water or stretch the arms like this, right? And then like this. As though like you have meditated for 2 hours. It's actually 2 minutes. Right? In 2 minutes you do like this. Right? So the point is that this is all what makes some people they're able to do the meditation so effectively for like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And some people they cannot even sit in this position for 1 minute. What makes the difference? The body or the mind? The mind. And some people they are so good in mathematics, but they're hopeless in music. Some people are so good in music, they're hopeless in mathematics. Right? Again, what makes the difference? It's the mind. So finally we see that this mind is a brilliant phenomenon. This mind has incredible the talents, incredible potential. So the same mind that each one of us, our mind has an incredible potential. So whatever good qualities other people have, your mind has that potential. Your mind has this potential. The Buddha nature that we're talking about is the true nature of mind, which has every good quality in the perfect state. That is within your mind. The only thing is that we don't let it manifest. You're getting it? So this mind has all these good functions. Good functions, our mind has the capacity to perform. Now the point is that how many such functions are there? Mental functions are there, right? Say mental function to be very good in computing, to be very good in singing, to be very good in the sitting, to be very good in dealing with other people very skillfully, to be very good in compassion, to be very good in the IT, to be very good in marketing, to be very good in say the emptiness meditation, and so forth. How many such works are there? How many such functions are there? 10? 20? Countless functions are there. Infinitely many functions are there. So these functions are all the functions of the mind. All the functions of the mind. So on the basis of these functions, for example, we talk about say the Singapore government. Right? Singapore government is a one unit, but within that there are so many departments. On the basis of departments are what? Departments are not on the basis of the different functions. On the basis of different functions, that different departments are created. You're getting it? Likewise, our mind has multiple functions. On the basis of these, just for the government, different functions, different departments. Likewise, our mind, different functions, different mental factors. So we talk about the mind into mind and mental factors. You're getting it? Mind and mental factors. Now, what the mental factors means, you think about the functions, different functions. You're getting it? And every mind, but the human mind, animal mind, boy's mind, girl's mind, educated, uneducated, or say the 20 plus 20 minus, right? Every mind should necessarily have minimum 5 functions. 5 functions. These are known as the 5 omnipresent mental factors. Omnipresent meaning present. These 5 functions are present with all minds. Right? Some mental functions may not be present with all minds. For example, anger. Anger cannot be present with the function of the anger cannot be present with a compassionate mind. Function of compassion cannot be present with the angry mind. Whereas these 5 mental functions are present with all minds. Okay, so these 5 mental functions are known as the 5 mental factors. So what are these 5 mental factors, which are referred to as the 5 omnipresent mental factors? Okay, 1. Okay, I'll give the sequence according to the easy explanation with respect to the easy explanation. 1 is contact, attention, discrimination, feeling. Wow. Okay, so the 5. Number 1 is contact. Number 2 is attention. Number 3 is discrimination. Number 4 is feeling. Number 5 is intention. This is so important. Okay, every mind. Now what we can do is that what we studied, going back to your respective homes, then see, just try to review these things and see whether all mind that I have, for example, when I sleep, do I have all these 5? When I'm little agitated, do I have all these 5? Say, when you, Friday evenings. What is so special about Friday evenings? Huh? Friday evenings, why? Huh? Yeah, people excited, right? Friday evenings, now is weekend, right? So with the weekend, everybody smiles. Monday mornings, right? Everybody, their face goes down, right? Okay, so Friday evenings, how the mind works. Does this mind have these 5 functions? Monday mornings, just see if the mind has these 5 functions. When you're angry, 5 functions. When you're happy, 5 functions. When you're a little compassionate, 5 functions. When you are, say, busy with some deadlines, when your mind is so in rush, the 5 functions. Just see. Okay, the 5 functions. Let me give you just a simple example, and then you try to extrapolate this to the other minds. One, let's say that I'm just able to say dozing off. I'm dozing off, and somebody says that, hey, right? Tell me, hey Dorji, right? I open my eyes, so still I'm half asleep, so my eyes are a little hazy. So something's in front of me. So what happens is that my eye consciousness comes in contact with the object. Do I know very clearly what is this object? No. If hazily something's coming to my mind. So my mind, my eye consciousness and the object comes in contact. The first thing. You agree with me? Okay, then what happens that because something is like this, I'm a little scared. So what will I do?
Attention.
I'll focus. I'll just, what is this? I'll try to pay attention. Number 2 is attention. First the contact with the object, then you pay attention to this. By paying attention, then what will you realize? Oh, this is not a chocolate, this is a flower. This is a flower. This is a discrimination. Discrimination has a negative connotation, right? Gender discrimination, caste discrimination, the ethnicity discrimination, and so forth are there. This word discrimination is not in that context. It simply means ability to distinguish things. Right? This is a flower. This is not a non-flower. This flower. This is not a thermos. This is flower. This is not a snake. Okay. This kind of distinction, you're able to make it. This known as discrimination. Then what happens? How feeling comes? How? Huh? How like it? Not like it. How attachment?
Pleasant or unpleasant.
Okay, pleasant, unpleasant. How? How? Okay.
Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral.
Okay. Yes. Let's say, how many of you have that experience? How many of you have this experience? Say, this is very important. So all these studies of psychology, you have to relate this with your personal experience. You're getting it? With your personal experience. This is so important. When you cannot relate this to your personal experience, then this psychology is just useless. We must be able to relate this. It's amazing. Only if you relate this to your personal experience, then you see that you will discover many subtler realities. Many subtler realities. You will discover many subtler realities to the extent that I like this, I don't like this. There's a reason behind. There's a reason behind. You're getting it? There's reason behind. Okay. Say, okay, tell me. I will tell you one thing. Say, if somebody comes to me, a son or a daughter, both, a son or daughter, both, they come to me, meaning they are both like age 50. Age 50, son and daughter, they come to me, and since you were born in that simple house, very simple house, and then son and daughter, both of them are very competent and running a very good business, and because of which they bought a big house recently, the last 2 years. But your mother spent like the last 50 years in that simple house. You're getting it? Simple house. And you love your mother so much. And then ask the mother, the mom will all move to the new house, big house. And the mother is so excited, come there and say, and the mother, very good, very good, very good. But the mother never moves. Right? Mother always stays there. And then, so because of your nature of the job, your family, and so forth, right? You have to move there to the new house. But the mother's no. Now you have 2 houses to take care of. Big house, responsibility. Your mother's house, responsibility. 2 houses to take care of. If the mother comes there, it's only 1 house, right? So there's additional, and then you have the deadlines, the workload, the tension from your job, and tension from your 2 houses, and then so you come to me, right? So what should I do? My mother is so stubborn. It's not listening to me. It's not listening. She has a separate house there in my new house, right? Separate room there. There's a garden there. The old one doesn't have a garden. Then what do you want me to do? You want me to advise your mother to move. I will not advise. Why I will not advise? This act of moving, it gives a very unpleasant feeling to the mother. You getting it? Why? Because for the mother, this old house, because of being habituated with this old house, a set of feelings already built, a very pleasant feeling of familiarity. Which is a better place for you? A familiar place or an unfamiliar place? Familiar place. With the familiarity, there's the ease coming in your mind. Pleasant feelings coming in your mind. That pleasant feeling is attached to this simple house. Although very simple, attached to this. You getting it? The moment she sees the prospect of moving to the new house, big house, that pleasant feeling disappears. When the pleasant feeling disappears, where there's a pleasant feeling, that action the person wants to do. Well, in which 2 places for the mother the pleasant feeling arises? In the old house or in the new house? old house. So that doesn't want to move. Moving, unpleasant feeling arises. Pleasant feeling disappears. So one doesn't want to engage in the action which gives rise to unpleasant feeling. You're getting it? So the point is that you see, okay, the mother moves to you force your mother to move to the new house, and then the mother next time just passing by sees the old house. What happens? Pleasant feeling comes in the mother. So this perception of the house, discrimination. This is the old house, my house, where I lived 50 years. This discrimination is glued to the pleasant feeling. You getting it? So the moment you see this, the pleasant feeling is retrieved. For example, say these three flowers are bound together with say rope, with the string, with a thread. Then you pull one of them, all three will come with you. You're getting it? Likewise, with the discrimination. To discriminate that this is the old house. This is my old house. With this discrimination, one stick, one of the flowers, one of the flowers, and the other flower tied with this is the pleasant feeling. Discrimination comes, the pleasant feeling also comes. You getting it? With the pleasant feeling, who is there who wants to get rid of the pleasant feeling? No one. Right? So the pleasant feeling comes, the person wants to stay there. Moving away, the pleasant feeling disappears, unpleasant feeling arises, doesn't want to go there. So, contact, attention, then discrimination. With the discrimination, depending on your past experience, what feeling is attached to this particular discrimination? Pleasant or unpleasant? You're getting it? If pleasant feeling, then the earlier experience is pleasant feeling, then the pleasant feeling is retrieved here, now. With the pleasant feeling, what happens? For example, this flower. Let's say that when I lost my mother, say somehow I was always seeing the yellow flowers around. It so happened that there were so many yellow flowers freshly grown. The same time my mother passed away. Later on, say after 20, 30, 40 years, I see the yellow flowers. What happens? To discriminate that particular flower as a yellow flower, then the very unpleasant feeling of the loss of your mother, that is retrieved. Then I don't want to see the flower. You're getting it? I see the flower, I say, Kasana, please take this flower away. You're getting it? Why? Why I don't want it? Because unpleasant feeling is retrieved. This unpleasant feeling, what happens with the unpleasant feeling? Then I want this to be got rid of. I want. That is the intention. Intention to get rid of this, push this. Whereas, the last moment of, for example, in my case, shall I share this or not? Okay, if I share this here, that's fine. I will not share this in India. Okay, because last year I gave the example of cheesecake, then so many cheesecake came in my house. So therefore I don't want to give the examples which you would bring to me. Right? Okay, there's what is known as puppet. There is there's one item, eatable. Oh no, okay, keep that aside. There's one thing. There's one particular spice known as spice. I will say this in Hindi. I will not say it in English. Right? It's known as methi. Right? Okay, lucky Bhavan is not here. Okay, there's one spice known as methi. It goes so well with potatoes. If you use this with the potato, it would be so good. I won't say delicious. It would be so delicious, so nice. My mother used to use this spice with this potato. Methi with the potato. Right? And then I lost my mother at a very young age 5. Then I was sent to school boarding school, and then there, this young boy, age 5, young boy, what, right? So when you saw them, I still remember so well when I lost my mother, age 5, I just remember crying so much. I remember that. Then as a young boy, sent to a school, and then boarding school, you don't, all children around, then you forget, young child. Then after a few years, suddenly I came in contact with that particular same potato with the same spice. The moment I ate this, right, it gives a extremely profound feeling of nostalgia of the mother's love. That very pleasant feeling came in me. You getting it? So that cognition of that particular food with the love and affection that I received from my mother at that age, these two were so well glued at the time of my youth, my young age 5, age 2, 3, 4, 5. So this, now suddenly for a few years, so this discrimination, that this particular food, discrimination of that particular food, that particular spice, it was not coming in me because I did not get the opportunity to come in contact with this same food. And suddenly after a few years, that came to me out of blue. Very pleasant feeling of being with the mother, extremely pleasant feeling, nostalgia, a little bit of a tinge of a sadness, a tremendous feeling of the warmth. It simply came up very intensely. So that is, discrimination is attached with the feeling. You're getting it? Feeling. So when you particular discrimination, then this discrimination, depending on this discrimination, what feeling was attached with this discrimination in the past? In the past, when that same discrimination comes in the future, that same feeling is retrieved. So discrimination plays a very important role in what feelings to arise. You're getting it? So therefore, in the Buddhist texts, when there's a mention of, for example, say, if there is a tendency for you to become angry, say, the conflict with somebody, easily becoming angry, easily become so very disturbed by seeing somebody, then it is advised to keep a distance, to fence yourself. Fence meaning not to come in contact with the person. Without coming in contact, what happens? Discrimination doesn't happen. When the discrimination doesn't happen, then the feeling attached with this particular discrimination, that doesn't arise. When that unpleasant feeling doesn't arise, then this unpleasant feeling can give rise to anger. Anger doesn't arise. So these are the reasons. So finally, it is the study of the psychology there. So the feelings. With this pleasant feeling, then what happens? Say, if at the time, the last moment, let's say, at the time, the last moment of you, or for example, in my case, last moment of my being with my mother, so it so happens that around everywhere there was the yellow flowers growing. Particularly, what is this flower known as?
Jebra.
Huh? Jebra. Okay, let's say Jebra. If the last moment of my time with my mother at a very young age, and if it so happens that my mother was cuddling me, and then everywhere the Jebra was growing everywhere, right? And then after many years, suddenly I see this flower here in Singapore. It again sparked my feeling of the mother, right? Pleasant feeling that will be retrieved. So discrimination is attached with the feeling. You're getting it? Feeling. So discrimination plays a very important role with the feeling. The feeling decides to push it or to go for it. The moment I see this, then I will get a hold of this, and I may ask, where can I get this flower? You're getting it? So then the intention to possess this flower, intention to look at this flower, right? So this will come. So this intention that makes you to move to possess it, push it, possess it. This is action or not? To possess, not to possess or to push. This action or not? That is action. That is karma. right? So this karma is nothing but the intention. Intention to push this, intention to possess it. Intention. You're getting it? So this intention is the karma. Finally, what exactly is karma is this intention. Then the Vaibhashika and Prasangika, they will add to this intention when manifest in the physical and verbal. These are also karmas. Whereas the three schools in between, they said just this intention is the karma. You're getting it? Okay, we'll stop here. There are some questions. We have another 6 minutes.
Krishna, can you define discriminating wisdom?
Okay, the discriminatory wisdom and discrimination is different.
Yeah, we often see this in translation. There are 6 perfections, and then you have the additional 4, and the last final one is discriminating wisdom.
Okay, so the question is, say particularly for those who are more senior, the question is, when we study, of course this is a part of what we're going to study tomorrow also, the 6 perfections, 6 actions, referred to as the 6 perfections. Another set of 4 actions related to referred to as the 4 perfections, total making 10 perfections. So of the 6, the first set of 6 with the second set of 4. First set of the 6, the last one is wisdom. And then the set of 4, the
10.
Okay, the 10th one. The 10th one is
Discriminating wisdom.
and discriminatory wisdom. 10th one. Okay, what is the difference between the 6th one in the set of the 6 and the 4th one in the set of the 4, right? If you combine them, it becomes 10. 6th one and the 10th one. 6th one is wisdom, 10th one is discriminatory wisdom. What's the difference? Okay, so there Lama Tsongkhapa very clearly indicated in the great Lamrim Chemo, great treatise on the stage about the part of the enlightenment. So there, Lama Tsongkhapa said that number 6, that is the wisdom pertaining to ultimate reality. Number 10, that's the wisdom pertaining to conventional reality. Okay. Any more? Say the questions. If not, I'm going to read these questions. Okay, yes.
As humans, we have the intention and the ability to change our karma in a way. What about for animals, for the disabled, the sick, very sick?
Okay, this is a very serious question. The question is, sorry, to upstairs. The question is for the human beings who are healthy and who meet with the centers, right? They're lucky. Okay, even the negative karmas, one is engaged in negative karmas, still they can learn how to get rid of negative karmas, how to purify negative karmas, so forth. But what about the animals? What about the people who are extremely disabled, like autistic and mentally retarded and so forth? How can we help them? Or how can they do? What can they do? This is a good question. Okay, so the one thing, this is a very serious point. So there, in fact, I remember several years ago, perhaps if not 10 years, for sure 9 years ago. 9 years ago, there was one girl from Hong Kong. She sent me an email saying that I have a pet dog. And the pet dog, all the internal organs are failing. All the internal organs are failing. And now the doctor's advising to put him down, to put him to sleep, which means kill. So what should I do? I said, don't kill. Don't kill. What you do is that give special attention to the dog. Before you go to your work, give a personal attention, caress. While caressing, recite the mantra, Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Deshan Dadakatum. And then talk to him. Talk to him. Right? You'll be fine, don't worry. Take this teaching from me. This is teaching of the Buddha. You take this with you. Right? And then see, there are 7 billion human beings on this earth. Even the human beings, they don't get the opportunity to listen to this teaching. And this dog is getting this opportunity to listen to. He's so fortunate if we kill him, right? So we are depriving of this dog from getting these wonderful teachings of the Buddha. So precious teachings of the Buddha. So this is what I wrote. Then, in few days time, I received an email back saying that she did it, and believe it or not, the moment she was caressing and started to talk to the dog and recite the mantra, the dog was looking up to her, looking at her face with so much of trying his best to tell her that I'm listening to you. It's so touching. This we can do. This is incredible. Because when just as this young boy at the age of 5, right, with this particular spines connected with the love and affection. Love and affection. This love and affection can retrieve this knowledge. This knowledge can retrieve this love and affection. These two are mutually enhancing. So this poor dog, later on, anybody says something, Ye Dharma, instantly the incredibly beautiful love that he received from this owner, right, this will be retrieved. The moment that comes to you, most of you, how did you come in contact with the Dharma? Most of you, right? Somebody said about karma, or somebody said about, say, the emptiness, which very interesting, right? Interesting. Interesting means very pleasant feeling, right? Very pleasant. Complicated means unpleasant feeling. Very interesting, right? Very interesting. And then if you have a very karmic connection from the past, emptiness. Oh, that's an interesting topic. The moment you say, there's a pleasant feeling coming. With a pleasant feeling, you want to explore more. This is how we come in contact with the deeper and deeper come in contact with the Dharma. So this poor animal, next life, somebody says, Ye Dharma. The moment the Ye Dharma is said, what is this? This is so familiar. It's so very pleasant, moving. It's not like this animal, born as a human, whatever, right, will have a feeling like very teary, becoming like tearful, right? What is this? This is something like, coming with my mother, something so precious. What is this? They didn't explore, will connect to Dharma. So precious. Likewise for the autistic people, disabled people, same thing we can do. Good. Okay. If you can speak through the mic.
You mentioned contaminated karma.
Yes.
Is there such a thing as uncontaminated karma?
Wow.
If it does exist, does it cause suffering?
Okay. The question is that we talked about the contaminated karma. From this, can we also think about something known as uncontaminated karma? If it does, this such uncontaminated karma, does it create suffering? Is the question? Good. Answer is yes. When we speak about the uncontaminated karma is there. What is uncontaminated karma? Okay, shall I share with you or not?
Yes.
Are you sure? Yes. Okay. Why I'm reluctant is that tomorrow you may become half. If I share this, right? Oh no, there's no hope with us now, right? No point in going, so I'm a little scared that the audience may become half tomorrow. Okay, uncontaminated karma. So you said it, so you have to promise not to be overwhelmed, discouraged, right? Okay, uncontaminated karma is a karma which will not throw you into samsara, which will never give rise to any suffering. Instead, this uncontaminated karma is the one which frees you, which guarantees that you are freed from suffering, right? What is this uncontaminated karma? When will we have this uncontaminated karma? We'll have this uncontaminated karma when we reach the path of seeing. Gate, paragate. Only the third level. Or from there you start the uncontaminated karma, not before that. Right? oh, then when will I have the Paragati level? Right? Oh, it'll take time. So it takes time, then there's no point coming here, right? Okay. So, okay, this is the point. So we'll stop here. Okay. The declaration prayer. Okay, page 308 for the blue book. The red book, I think page 297. 278? 278. The red one, 278. The blue one, 308. Okay, let us dedicate the marriage properly, because it says that the importance of two things: motivation and the dedication. Motivation in the beginning and the dedication towards the end. So with the motivation, we'll make sure that whatever you do becomes virtuous. And then the end, dedication, make sure that the virtue that you did will not be destroyed, will be maintained intact. Okay. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful, generous, Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I could attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state.